All right, buddies. Hi, and welcome to Thoughts from the Shower with me, Coach D. So as strange as it is to say to someone, you were in your dreams last night, it's even more strange to tell someone you thought about them while you were in the shower. Trust me, I should know. I've done it a lot. But I tend to do most of my best thinking while I'm in the shower, which is ironic because it's been a well-known joke amongst all of my friends that I don't actually shower. But listen, I do. I'm just probably one of the most inconsistent people when it comes to showering. My desire to compile and share all of the strange and wonderful thoughts from the shower that come to me while I'm in there is so far serving as a way for me to be a little bit more consistent with this aspect of my life in order to create this podcast. It is likely going to be the most random show you've ever listened to. You never know what I'm going to say or what the topic is going to be. It's literally just what comes to me and however it comes out. So some episodes may strike you as boring. Some episodes may be a little risque. Some episodes may include a guest. Some episodes may just be me sitting in a corner somewhere. I think that maybe my purpose on this planet is to tell the entire world that I have spent my entire life up until now looking for said purpose. My hope is that by sharing my thoughts from the shower, something is going to resonate with you and I can be of some assistance and help to guide you along your path to finding your own purpose. I am also going to be posting and launching some hot flashes. So these hot flashes are going to be 5 to 10 minute blurbs of just like a quick thought. We may in podcasts later on go into more depth with those. And it may just be something that I kind of like drop on you. But this is a hot topic that I've listened to on an audiobook or I've heard in another podcast, or a quote that I heard somewhere, or a line from a book, just random thoughts that don't need more than 5 or 10 minutes of explanation, or that I think are just super hot topics that we need to go over immediately. So I'm calling these short clips hot flashes because as a wellness coach and personal trainer, most of the clients that I deal with are women in their 40s and 50s. Also with Pure Romance, I have a plethora of women. And one of the things that we've been talking about recently is menopause and the effects of that time of our life. And hot flashes are one of those like negative things. So I thought, you know what, when I'm in the shower, the hotter the water is, the hotter my idea tends to be. And I thought, oh my gosh, light bulb. This is what I'm going to call my quick episodes. They're going to be hot flashes. We're going to have a hot idea, and we're going to have a positive spin on something that is traditionally a negative thing, a negative experience. So it might turn a hot flash into something that you can actually look forward to. So anywho, again, we'll go over like, if I read a good book, I might talk about a book that I read. I might talk about a pure romance topic or a sexual health topic. I will frequently have my friend Brandy, who is a makeup and hair artist, on podcasts with me so she can show you her beautiful work on my hair and my makeup. I actually just got my hair done by my girl, not Brandy, but I got my color done and I'm feeling super fly. So it's like, I definitely need to record a podcast. If you're not watching on Spotify, on YouTube, my handle is at Coach D One Stop. This one is not like, we don't have a lot going on. It's just me in my little recording corner, but you can flip over to that channel and see my beautiful, luxurious, brand new hair. Anywho, so current events, guest speakers, hot button topics, those kind of things. So this is definitely something that is going to be like really random. Also, I've always wanted to write a book, but I don't have the attention span to write a book. So I thought maybe I should do a podcast. I can like talk about things, but like the idea of sitting down and like typing it all out. And I know now there's AI. I'm learning. I'm actually like legitimately just learning about all of this, like chat GBT and this AI stuff. And I just never really thought it was applicable to my life. I was like, I'm not really in any kind of field that this would be beneficial to me, but like legit, it's like ridiculous. So just to give you an example, like I am hosting a seminar here in a few weeks. My grown-up job, my daytime grown-up job is a mortgage lender. So I work for Polaris Home Funding. Shout out. I can shout it out because like I work there. And I'm saying positive stuff, right? So it's fine. Also, I'm not sponsored by anyone. So like legit, I feel like, I mean, as long as I'm not, legally doing anything to harm somebody, I can probably say whatever I want. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm putting on this seminar, right? This is how my brain works. I'm putting on this seminar here in a few weeks, and I'm partnering with someone else, an investment banker, and I'm trying to, or financial planner. Anyway, I want to teach people about like, what it looks like when you buy your first house, like what costs come with that, and what are like the quote unquote hidden fees, and how much do you really need to save. And, I'm sure that there are lenders out there that are reaching out to people recently, and like rates are kind of all over the place right now, but a lot of people have been talking about like, well, maybe I'll just refinance my loan, but they're like, in my mind, they're not like really low enough right now to be able to do that. So anywho, I want to do this class to talk to people about these topics, right? And you might already own a home and be thinking about a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or a refinance, or maybe you're thinking that you want to buy a house, but you're not really sure, like, what does that look like? How do I do it? Blah, 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 all these things. And I like sat down to write my notes, like my speech notes, and I had just like topics, like basic topic, financial responsibility of home buying. And then I'm like, okay, now what do I say? Like, what do I say to these people? So I open up chat GPT, and I'm like, write a short speech about blah, 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 blah. And I put in like all the topics that I want and like all the main things that I want to say. And it just goes, and it like writes this stuff out. And I'm like, oh, what? My mind is completely blown. So obviously like a copy and paste, and then like I add to it. I change some of the words because like this AI thing, it doesn't talk like me. So I'm not just going to like stand there and read something off a page that doesn't feel authentic. And then what happens, like if somebody asks me a question and I'm like, oh, well, I don't really know because I didn't really write this speech, right? So anyway, it was phenomenal. So I wrote this entire 2-hour seminar in a matter of like 45 minutes. And I feel really good about it. Like just typing in the prompts and then being able to like add to it, and I can go back, I can practice it. Like I don't even have to stress out about what am I going to say and all that kind of stuff. And now, next week I'm going to be meeting with my co-host, and we can go over things and we can bounce ideas off of each other. But like it gave me like a really good starting point. So I think that if you use, this is so random, this is not what I was like thinking I was going to talk about on this episode, but here we are talking about AI. Anyway, I think it's like really cool if you're using it as like a template. I definitely would be irritated if I found out that like one of my favorite authors was just using like chat GPT for like writing a book or something. I would be so annoyed with that. But yeah, I mean, it's like super helpful. So whatever. That's a rando topic number one. So let me get back to like what I really wanted to talk about. Oh, writing a book. Jesus. So I guess where I was going with this was that like if I do these podcasts and I like record myself and I put it out there, then eventually if I felt like it, I could take all these recordings and compile them and put them like on paper somewhere, which would be really cool. Another thing was so I lost my father when I was not quite 8 years old. And, you know, in the moment, you're a child and you don't really think about, like, I mean, they're your parents, right? So you just kind of view your parents differently when you're a kid. And as I've aged, I'm 40 now. So dad's been gone a very long time. And then, you know, his father, my grandfather, passed a few years ago as well. And towards the end of my grandpa's life, I realized I don't know this man like at all. You know, we were going through his winter home, right? Of course, he was a snowbird. He was well into his 80s, so lived a very wonderful life, and unfortunately developed multiple strains of cancer, and it was, you know, taking his life from him and from us. But you know, in going down to Florida and visiting with him, and every once in a while, just, you know, going and looking at photos or looking at his handwriting, watching the way that he studied things and wondering like what's going on in his mind and what does he dream about, and, you know, what are his thoughts when he's sitting alone, what's his favorite television show, you know, what was he like when he was 17, how did he meet my grandmother, did he love my dad or my aunt better, you know, just like I didn't know anything about him other than what I perceived throughout my life. And that now in hindsight, like that's just not good enough. So, you know, I thought I need to chronicle my life. And I'm very, very open with my children. I have 3 children. They are all near driving and over driving age. They're, you know, much older at this point, and I've always been kind of like that cool mom. My kids know things that I've done when I was their age. I feel like, you know, honesty and openness helps them to, in my mind, I think that it helps them to respect me and know that I'm an actual human and I'm not just mom. And when I tell you that I don't want you to do something, it's probably because I did it. And, or I know somebody who did it, or, you know, I feel like the more you tell them, then they will tell you more. And I believe I have a really good relationship with my kiddos. My daughter is in college, and we were on the phone yesterday for like almost 2 hours, which was beautiful. And it's a very, I could do a whole episode on the strangeness, and I'm sure I will. I bet you what I'll do, I'll find one of my friends, and we can talk about the intricacies of, you know, you hold this human in your body for all of these months, and then you care for them for all of these years, and then one day they think that they don't need you, but they really do, and then one day they just really don't need you in that way, right? And you become less of child parent, less of caregiver and receiver, and more of like, oh, like you're a human that functions outside of me. It's just so weird. It's so strange. But yeah, I think that there are definitely things that like my kiddos don't know about me. And someday I'll have grandkids and it's going to be a whole different world. Like it's already a whole different world. My daughter said to me before she went away for school that last summer, of course, she's doing all these things, right? While she's got access to a full kitchen and no responsibilities really. We're in between high school and college. And so she's like living her best life, which was amazing to watch. And just a perfect example, she's in the kitchen and she's creating something. And I'm like, oh, I've never done that before. And she said to me, she's like, Dad said the same thing to me yesterday or last week or whenever it was. And she's like, it blows my mind that you guys are the age that you are and you've experienced all the things that you've experienced and you've never done half of the things that I've done. And I like, it just like really makes you think like, yeah, I guess that's super valid. But I told her, I was like, sis, you have to think like, when your dad and I were your age, the internet wasn't really a thing, right? We couldn't just like jump on YouTube and watch a video of how to change the oil in our car or bake a sourdough bread or, anything like that. We couldn't like, if you wanted to make a recipe, you had to hope that the recipe was in your mom's Betty Crocker, or you had to like look in the encyclopedia to find any kind of knowledge. And then, it's not like now where you just like Google it and it happened yesterday and you can Google it and you're like, boom, there. This is like, it had to be published. So it's like, I don't know. It's just a totally different world. But yeah, I want my story to be out there. I definitely want my story to be out there. So writing a book is probably not completely off the table, but for right now, I think a podcast is way better. And obviously, like the way that my brain works, we're like 20 minutes, 15 minutes into this podcast, and I'm sure you're feeling it. Anywho, more on that to come. There's going to be some chronicles of my own life, and I just talked to someone very special to me, and they have agreed to let me do a series on them. So I'm so freaking excited for this. I think it's going to be fire. I'm excited. I'm excited just to have it. So it may not get the views, it may not get the listens and the likes, and it may not resonate with anyone. But for me, just to know that I've created that bit of content is going to be priceless. So I'm super, super excited and very grateful, feeling very grateful already that this person has agreed to this. So yeah, awesome. Anywho, okay, so thoughts from the shower. This has always been a thing for me, thinking about things in the shower. So like, I'm going to take you all the way back. First off, I have so EMDR is like a eye movement type of therapy, right? And I've done this therapy on a specific event from my childhood that involves like bathing. And I know this sounds like it's probably going to go bad, but I promise you it's like relatively PG. I just always remember being very small, and I lived in an apartment with my mom, and I'm a little kid, and she's helping to wash me or whatever, and I have like a birthmark, and I have vivid memories of her trying to like scrub this birthmark off of me. And in my memory, there's like her forgetting that it was a birthmark. And here's the thing about me and these vivid memories. I have a very superb imagination. And I've been told by family members that some of these things that I remember didn't happen. So, in doing therapy and meditation, I have uncovered that some of these memories actually probably, they actually happened, right? They actually happened as I remember them. Some of these memories are like my perception of what happened. So in this instance, specifically, I have this birthmark. My memory is I'm getting a bath. Mom is scrubbing. It's not coming off. And then it hits her. Oh, that's a birthmark. It's not coming off. Repeatedly, like not maybe every time, but like multiple times, right? So whether it exactly happened in that fashion or there was some like version of it, my version is my reality, right? So that's what I ended up having to do some therapy on, because it gave me like the response of not being important enough to have crucial pieces of me remembered, right? So it gave me like that was the like the base layer of that type of trauma, right? Where like you're not worth remembering. So there, who knew this was going to be a therapy session? This is terrible. This is what happens when I'm alone with my thoughts. Okay. But anyway, so that's like the first thing that has to do with like bathing or whatever. And maybe that's like the base layer of why I don't like taking showers. It gives me a sense of, it's supposed to be like cleansing and refreshing. And it gives me like this sense of like self-loathing and unworthiness, but whatever. So then, because I have this overactive imagination, what it was like for me to shower as a kiddo growing up. So I have a sister and two brothers, and we lived in just like a one-level ranch house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. So I'm sure there are plenty of people that can relate to this. I myself, the first home that I owned, I had with my 3 children, and we had the 1 full bath. But thankfully, I actually had a half bath that was like added on to the house as an addition. So the main bathroom that we had in the house was actually like adjusted to accommodate for like a half bath off the master bedroom, which was like a full-on godsend when you have 3 children. But again, it was 3 bedrooms. Like it was basically the same house that I grew up in. That was my first like home as an adult that I purchased. So anywho, growing up, so there's 6 of us. There's 6 of us in a 3-bedroom ranch style home with 1 bathroom. Now I'm the oldest of 4. And I'm like a lot older. So my siblings are much younger than I. There is, from me and the youngest, there's a 10-year gap. And I mean, I was in high school and these are like kids, like my younger siblings or whatever. So, I mean, I was kind of like showering, I guess, but I couldn't lock the door because like what happens if like your little sister needs to go to the bathroom, right? You have 1 bathroom and little sister is not going outside. Now, little brothers, they'll probably go outside, but, couldn't lock the door for case of an emergency or something. Like what if somebody needs a Band-Aid? Like, I have 2 little brothers. Anything could happen. So, couldn't lock the door. And inevitably someone would come in, like literally every time. So I was just constantly thinking, right? Just constantly just creating these things, in my mind. And one of the things that I remember always doing would be like replaying conversations that I had with friends or like cute boys or like a teacher or my boss or something, right? Like I would replay these conversations, or I would create conversations. That one was the interesting one, because then, it was like a soap opera. Yeah, I grew up, mom always watched soap operas. So I think that's kind of where it came from. I was like, life is so dramatic, right? Like, and so I just made my actual life be like this big drama. And, I'm like washing my hair, like talking to Trevor or whatever. Like, I never even knew a Trevor. Literally just made that name up. But like, the hat guy or something, and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? But like in real life, you would never even talk to Trevor. Or, maybe my best friend did something that irritated me, but she's my best friend and it wasn't really probably that big of a deal. So it wasn't worth like, approaching her about it, but maybe it bothered me enough to where I'm like thinking about approaching her. Like I'm thinking about like, you know what, Samantha? And I use Samantha because I always wanted my name to be Samantha. You know what, Samantha? Like, blah, 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 blah. And just have a conversation. And just creating scenarios or whatever. Or like the one time I tried to go out for a sports team, I like imagine myself being on the team. Like, oh yeah, on game day and how cool it would be. And then yeah, I didn't play sports in high school. But anyway. So yeah, for sure. That would happen, when I was like up until I had moved out of the house. And then after that, I had kids. So legit, if you're a mom on here, regardless of the age of your children, you know what I'm talking about when I say like you cannot shower by yourself. There's always someone knocking on the door or sliding things underneath the door, or like there's literally someone in the room with you. One of my 3 children, I could not shower without them being in the bathroom, like in the bathroom. And that wasn't because like I felt like I needed them in the bathroom. It was because like they felt like they needed to be in my bathroom with me. So that's super fun. But yeah, it's like, then you're either like trying to hurry and you're like, okay, I'm just not going to wash my hair today. And then next thing you know, it's like 3 weeks later and you still haven't washed your hair because all you're worried about is not smelling like baby vomit or VO. And so it's just like out of necessity that you're showering. And maybe that's where it came from, where I was like, oh, I can actually go multiple days without showering. So I don't need to do this very often. But yeah, it was like, whatever, just get what you get what you can get. And honestly, even now, my kids are like high school and above, y'all. High school and above. And I would say that at least once a week, I am interrupted while I'm in the shower. And we've already established that this is not like an everyday thing for me. So it's not like, 1 out of 7 days, right? It's like 1 out of 3. Like a third of the time I'm being interrupted in the shower. And they're actually like asking you full-blown questions at this point. So, but I can't hear. Like, I don't know what you're saying. So then I'm like, you have to open the door. So still to this day at 40 years old, I can't lock the door. Not that I like ever felt like I needed to lock the door, but if you're a teenage girl, you always want to lock the door. Like those of you that are listening or watching, if you have like teenage children, I guess my boys probably do it too. But like, I always hear the door close and lock. And I'm like, why are you, like, who is going to walk in? What are you afraid of right now? I don't, like, I'm not going to walk in. I've never walked in. I'm not going to start walking in. Your siblings have never walked in. Like, if the door is closed and the water is running, logic says there's someone in there. They're in the shower. I'm going to wait. especially in a house like this where we're at right now. We have 2 full bathrooms. So like, I don't know. I don't understand the concept of locking the door. But anyway, even if I wanted to lock the door, I full on can't lock the door because I never know when these teenagers are going to, not be able to wait 30 more seconds for me to get out of the shower. And they have to ask me the dumbest question right now. And you know what? Honestly, like by the time my kids listen to this, if they ever do listen to this, they're going to know it was a dumb question. So don't even feel bad about saying that. I thought I was going to like recant my statement, but no, it's a stupid question, kids. You could have waited. Okay. That's all there is to it. So that's, 20s, 30s, whatever. I don't like when the kids aren't here, if I take a shower, like, I guess that's when I get my privacy, There were times when I had cats in the house all the time. And not like cats, like I'm a crazy cat lady, but like I had 2 cats. And they like lived in the house. Not a big deal. It's not a big deal, guys. They're like outside mostly now. Just because I can't get rid of them. Anyway, there would be times where like there would be a paw underneath there. And I think dogs do this too, but I've never owned a dog, but like never really experienced this with a dog. But there'd be like a paw underneath the door, or like I open the door after I'm done with the shower and there's this one, and he would like book it in there and like run into the shower and start licking things. I'm like, this is absolutely the weirdest thing. Oh, side note, have you ever been licked by a cat after showering? That's the weirdest thing. I knew that it was a dog thing. Like I've seen videos and stuff of like dogs licking people's legs after a shower, but legit a cat licking you in general is probably one of the most awkward things. But then like to get the water droplets off of you after a shower, it's just like, it's very uncomfortable. I think it's very uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't know. Like I'm wondering when I'm going to be able to shower in peace. And I think that just knowing that it's not going to be peaceful all the time is a deterrent. So wanting to record more podcasts and wanting like these ideas to come to me is pretty much the only thing that's keeping me going at this point. Like they've made so many different varieties of like deodorants and wipes and, I don't know, whatever else, detergents and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure I could cover it up for a long time if I had to. But what if I never got another good idea? So I don't know. Also, here's another note. Shower-proof like containers for my phone. But like it needs to be, sorry, taking a drink there. It needs to be something that like I can do like the Hey Siri to, so that it listens to me and I can like create a note or be able to like type on it, but also have it in the shower with me so it's waterproof. And I know like, so I have, an iPhone or whatever. And I think that the cool thing about the iPhones like now is that they're like quote unquote more water resistant. True story. This was like a number of years ago. I got my first iPhone and I was dropping my kids off at school and I had just a mug of coffee, right? And for whatever reason, I like moved my phone from one spot to the other spot while I was in the drop-off line and put my phone, like I thought I put it in the center console. Yeah. And then I drove like off to work and I reached down to grab my coffee to take a swig and my phone is literally like in the coffee mug. for that entire time. So like it slurped up that coffee. So I like get to work. I have no phone. Fortunately, like when I was at work, I mean, I have a work phone or whatever. So if there had been an emergency with my kids or something, like I wouldn't have been completely, unreachable or whatever. But I had no phone. And I was just starting to dabble in social media and like texting and all those kind of things. So I go to the store and I'm like, so this thing's broke. And they're like, okay, we can order you a new one, but it's going to take like XY number of days or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Cause like, when I'm not at work or when I'm not at a place where I have a phone, like what if something happens to my kids? Like I have to be like reachable or whatever. And so they were like, okay, well, we can give you this, like temporary phone. I'm like, okay. Guys, it was like a flip phone with like a QWERTY keyboard. So I like go back to being like, like tapping like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Like L O L. And it was horrible. And of course it had no Wi-Fi. So at that time, like I thought my life was over. And then I realized how silly I sounded for not being able to like take pictures on my phone and jump on social media and Snapchat my friend or whatever. I'm like, this is embarrassing that I was however old I was and that attached to a freaking device. But anyway, got a new phone out of it. Learned my lesson with the coffee. I mean, you can leave your phone in rice for 3 days and it will not unslurp the coffee that it slurps after 20 minutes, just for the record. Albeit, my daughter did drop her iPhone. It went off of her dorm bed into her fish tank. Yeah. It was really great. Clearly, like great design on her part to have her fish tank underneath where her head is at night. And I guess she said she like fell asleep with her phone like by her head or whatever, and it slipped out from underneath and literally just went into the fish tank and was there until she woke up. And it actually worked enough to where she could text her dad and I and was like, hey, I may be offline for an unforeseen amount of time. My phone was in my fish tank. And I thought that she just like, it just like dropped in there. And I was like, because she was still texting from it. And then she called and said like, no, it was in there like for hours while she full on slept. Like not just a nap, like full blown was sleeping. This phone was in the fish tank. So kudos, shout out Apple for making like good phones that can swim. So that's fun. I didn't know that they had that feature, but I don't want to risk it with my phone. So if there's a case, like a shower-proof case that I can use while I'm in the shower with my phone. Because the other thing, if it's like not in the bathroom, so if it's in the bathroom, then I just like kind of reach for it with my wet hands and I'm typing and then I'm nervous that I'm going to drop it. So a lot of times like the phone's not in the bathroom, it's in my bedroom, it's charging or it's in my office or something. And then I have these great ideas in the shower, but then they literally start to trickle out of my face and out of my head as soon as the water turns off. It's like, I'm having this great idea. This whole train of thought. It's just like going. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm going to jot this down. I'm going to get this on paper. I'm going to get it in my phone as soon as I turn this water off because it's in my bedroom. And then it starts to like, the water comes off and I'm like trying to dry off. And it's like, I feel the train just like leaving the station and I'm like, shit. So I'm like, dripping, like all wet, and I'm probably gonna break my ass at one point, like running back to my bedroom so I can type it all in, and then I just don't feel like it's good enough. Like I don't feel like I actually get the full essence of the shower thought. So Definitely need that case. That's going to be like something that I'm looking for. So if anybody has like any great ideas, or it's probably, honestly, it's probably a thing already, and I'm just sleeping on it because I think about these things and then I just like don't even go after it. I'm just like, meh, it's probably not a thing. And I just go on about my life, and that's it. I don't know. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Yeah, this is my life. This is how things are. This is my show. So I didn't think I was going to go off on so many tangents today, but you know what? Done is better than perfect. I've realized many people have told me, and someone very special to me has really shoved it home that I struggle with perfectionism and it keeps me from doing things. So today, after I got my hair done, I thought, you know what? I'm going to run over to Best Buy because it's right next door. I'll run over to Best Buy real quick. I'm going to get a couple of charging cubes. Like there's just some like techie type stuff that I need. And I have my Best Buy credit card. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it on there. And then I'm like, oh, no, you said you were recording today. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I can literally go to Best Buy any day. I've already committed. I'm going to record today. So let's just go ahead and go home. So on the way home, I open the sunroof. It's like 60 some degrees in the middle of February. I'm like, when I get home, man, I'm just going to go outside. I'm going to do like a mile, maybe 2 miles. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to soak up the vitamin D. Everything's going to be great, which, okay, listen, if you're one of my clients and we do like wellness coaching or PT or something like that, like legit, I want you to capitalize on the sunshine. Okay. If you need your steps, if you like haven't worked out yet and you know, the sun is shining and it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you have the opportunity, like 100%, I want you to go outside and I want you to like get your walk in, soak in the sun because it's the best, it's literally the purest form of vitamin D, which especially living in central Ohio, 70%, no, it's 56%, I think, of our days are sunshiny. So you really have to like capture them while you can, especially in the middle of February. I guess by the time I release this, yeah, it'll be like the end of February. But anywho, so I'm like, yeah, as soon as I get home, I'm just going to pop my trainers on and I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a nice walk. And then I said, oh, Danny, no, like you've committed that you are recording today. You have to record today and then you can go for a walk. Okay. And I can tell myself this for 2 reasons. One, I've already committed to recording, but I'm procrastinating on it because I think that it's not going to be perfect. I'm not really sure what I'm going to talk about. And you know, for like, whatever. And I also like already did treadmill walk for 30 minutes today. I trained 2 clients today and I lifted for 60 some minutes this morning. So like I've done my workout. Okay. I've got my steps in. I'm pretty sure I'm at like 12,000 steps. And for 2 hours, I was sitting down getting my hair done. Like I'm going to be fine. Okay. And I take a Mega D, shout out Max Effort, every day. So I do get supplemental vitamin D. So anyway, so I'm like, nope, you have to go downstairs and you have to record because you said you were going to record. So then I get down here and I'm setting everything up and I pull out my backup recorder, right? That goes like to the mic. And it's like DED dead, like 3% dead. I'm like, well, I gotta let this bad boy charge. So like, I was trying like, my brain was trying like hell to stop me from recording today. And I think I'm going to write it down. I'm going to put it in my phone here. We're going to do a whole episode on perfectionism and the way that your brain will like keep you from doing the things that you know you need to do. Because there's more. But wait, there's more. But anywho, I mean, here we are and we're at 45 minutes. I feel really good about that. I feel like you have a great understanding of some of the inner workings of my insane mind and why thoughts from the shower needed to happen and what it might be like to be inside my brain. So, thank you again. I have so much gratitude for literally, even if it's just you're the one person. I was so ecstatic when we launched the very first episode that like 2 days after it released, I got this email that's like, congratulations, you just got your 25th subscriber. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Like I literally felt like Miss America on stage and I just got like runner up or something. It was phenomenal. So I'm like super excited. I'm really thankful. I have so much like gratitude for everyone who even just gives it a little listen for 2 minutes. I don't really care. It's been great. So I'm excited to continue to bring you some content. And again, just be ready. If you think that you're like subscribing or following or watching because, you know, you're going to get like some huge revelation, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that there's definitely going to be like some really good nuggets. And I think that my life is just interesting enough, you know, to keep you listening for a little while. And there's going to be some real fucked up stuff. And there might be some really hilarious stuff in there. So I definitely think it's worth listening to. I think that it's worth following and subscribing to. I know I'm on Spotify. We're waiting for iTunes. It's me and my brain, waiting for the iTunes acceptance. This podcast, this show is on Apple Music and YouTube at Coach D One Stop. Yeah, I don't know where else I am, but we're in Ohio, so that's fun. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at PR_Coach D. PR stands for Pure Romance. Mm-hmm. And then Coach D, sexual health, wellness coach, nutrition coach, and personal trainer. Lots of good things. And then don't forget my grown-up job. I'm a mortgage lender, so I can buy you a house and it'll have a gym in it, and I can like coach you on how to eat and move and also have really good sex with yourself or your partner with some amazing bedroom accessories. And yeah, it's the one stop. It's really the one stop, guys. I am also on Facebook. You can find me at Coach D One Stop on Facebook. And I'm not ticking or talking just yet. It's been I've been advised to do the TikTok, and I'm just not there yet. So I apologize for that. Also, for anyone that's just, you had like a little thing, like you thought maybe it's a no. Okay, I don't have an OnlyFans. I've been asked that about 14 times in the last month, and it's a no. I don't have it. I won't have it. Don't ask me. We're not doing it. Okay. We're not getting a pinky. We're not getting a toe. We're not getting nothing. All right. It's a no. It's a no. But you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I know that might make me sound like I'm 90, but I just don't care. Here we are on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, wherever you're listening. I appreciate you and look forward to bringing you some more content. Hopefully that's a little less random, but I can't make any promises. So thank you so much for watching and or listening, and we will see you next time with thoughts from the shower. Bye!